So my second choice for my musical moments is the Joe Boyd Vigil era, the JBV era, which is something people always come back to us with. When's Joe Boyd Vigil going to do more music? So a little bit of backstory. Joe Boyd Vigil was an audio engineer who worked at a facility where we mixed a lot of Toonami promos. And he also was a talented musician. Joe was mixing our promos, and at some point we were sort of running out of Tommy Guerrero beats and running out of we needed somebody to make more music, somebody that was cheap and local. And Joe was both of those things. And when we found out he did music, we approached him and said, hey, would you like to make some tracks for us? So it took a little while to dial it in. I remember very specifically asking him if he could do hip-hop, and him being like, not really, that's not, like, he didn't really listen to that. He's like, I could do some beats, but... So then I said, well, what about drum and bass? And he said, I think I could do drum and bass. I kind of like drum and bass. Like, even that wasn't, like, his favorite kind of music. But he thought, okay, yeah, I can try this out. And then we just got into a really good rhythm where we would just periodically come to him and say, we're looking for this, we're looking for that, and he would just deliver a bunch of tracks. And they ended up being the music for a lot of promos that old school Toonami fans remember and love dearly, and his music, even at the time, was recognized well enough that we got to release the soundtrack of his music called Deep Space Bass through our partnership with Rhino Records at the time. It was a weird fit. Deep Space Bass cratered real hard. Nobody bought it. I think there are copies out there for like $100 now, but it got one printing. And I think it's very solid instrumental electronic music. I was down with it. I did not push to have Deep Space Bass released. It was a request from our consumer products division. I thought, well, I don't know, but okay. So we just did it. Toonami fans love it. It's been shared around. I hear about it all the time. So Joe's music definitely left a huge impact in the minds of...
Yeah, it was a lot of years of...
3 or 4 years.
Primary source of...
our music.
All music.
And he was great in terms of... He was probably one of the best at bringing in drum and bass and interpolating that into our repertoire of music.
And he was also making music for spots as opposed
Scoring
to us retrofitting longer musical pieces to be able to work into spots. He was making 30-second and 60-second musical cuts with the idea of like, okay, now we need to have... Here's where we have the bridge, and then we need to end on a flurry. So it was with it coming from the mind of a
person who worked on
audio
promos
engineer and mixing those spots.
Knew exactly what we needed for everything. So Joe has since left Atlanta and parted ways with Toonami and has gone on to greener pastures. But his work continues to be remembered. So we're talking about him like he's dead. Joe was a great man. So I'm going to just play one quick promo. I don't think this is the first thing he did for us, but it's definitely the first thing that we all felt like, whoa, we're on to something new here, and was something that people still talk about now. So this is the promo for our first Dragon Ball Z marathon, DBZ 20XL, which I named and is the dumbest, makes no sense. But Sean loved it so much we made T-shirts. Like, there was a huge marketing push, and it makes sense. It's just 20 DBZ episodes. I don't know why XL makes it. But anyway, this is the promo.
Extra large.
This is the promo for DBZ 20XL with one of Joe's signature songs that really sort of makes the promo.
Some things never change. Toonami thinks change is good. In keeping with this philosophy, we're giving you a little present. And shaking things up a bit. Don't get nervous. You're gonna love it. How about a full week of Dragon Ball Z? Bring it on. 4 episodes a day, 5 days in a row. That's at least, well... You do the math. We just figure it's a whole lot of Dragon Ball.
Been waiting for this. That can't be life.
DBZ worth it. Flash.
I mean, even
say what you will, the 3D and those graphics really hold up after 15.
I mean,
plus
but
years.
if you think about that, so think about you're 6 years old and you're seeing something that abstract. Like, that music's pretty abstract, and that edit is more abstract than most promos now, and faster moving than a lot of promos.
Yeah, I mean,
now,
that was
20 years later.
like the 98, 99 Cahill experimental.
Yeah, that was edited by Michael Cahill, who now runs the Adult Swim Bumps team.
Using
Shout out to
the
Cahill.
Flash audio from the whatever that Johnny Quest
Flash
giveaway in the Caribbean that Sean went and shot was, where it's just like total, just Dada-esque.
Yeah.
Children's
pretty awesome, and left obviously a big impression. So shout out to Joe. Thank you for your work. We've used your music a bunch. People still ask
We're
us.
Sorry that you're dead.
People still ask us to use it now, which, you know, we try not to go back to the well. Occasionally we bring one out, but normally we don't, because we like to just keep looking forward. But glad we
Keep our
worked
feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars.
or something.